Rapper Lil Durk is charged in a murder-for-hire plot.
They're targeting a rival rapper.
Rapper Quando Rondo's cousin, who was killed in 2022.
1802 Sampson, and I was part of the run-up. Another car in Iowa and Cambridge in Iowa.
Someone who is said to be Lil Durk's hitman was recently seen getting handcuffed in Chicago. This new video has made everyone talk. The man in the video is linked to a murder case. As the video goes viral, people are talking about their ideas about what happened. Fans are shocked at how deep this case goes. Durk is already in federal custody after trying to avoid the police, and there are rumors that his own crew betrayed him. This video has intensified the case, leaving the entire rap world on edge. Lil Durk's hitman was caught. Lil Durk's hitman, Rick, have been all over the news.
Chicago rapper Lil Durk is in police custody this morning.
And he was allegedly involved in a murder-for-hire plot.
And now video of some of his alleged men getting arrested has taken the internet by storm. A video of some guys connected to Durk being handcuffed in Chicago has gone viral, drawing more attention to the high-stakes murder case involving Cav London, Grant DeAndre Dantrell Wilson, David Brian Lindsay, and others are said to have been part of a group that planned to kill rapper Quando Rondo, who is said to have been the target. They are now facing major charges along with Durk, including conspiracy and use of firearms, while they wait to be extradited to Los Angeles. The footage of these accused hitmen has been spreading like wildfire. In the video, you can see the suspects being chased by local and federal law enforcement as they're taken into custody. In Chicago Online, everyone is talking about it and saying what they think about Durk's possible participation. 3 of the men, Grant Wilson, Lindsay, and Wilson, are being held in the Winnebago County Jail until they are sent to Los Angeles to face their charges. Durk's alleged role, according to the feds, he orchestrated the hit on Quando Rondo after losing his close friend King Vo in a shootout back in 2020. The alleged hit was said to be part of a revenge plot, with Durk supposedly putting a bounty on Rondo's head. The footage doesn't just show the suspects getting arrested. It's become a symbol of just how deep these legal issues are for Durk, with fans on every social platform sharing and speculating about what's next. This story is rooted in a bitter history between Durk and Rondo dating back to the night King Von was killed. V was more than just another rapper to Durk. He was his twin, his protege, someone he was bringing up under his wing in '08 when Von was killed in a confrontation outside in an Atlanta hookah bar, allegedly by a member of Rondo's crew. The streets knew there was going to be fallout, but the feds are saying Durk took it to a whole new level, allegedly putting out a hit to settle the score. The attack went down in Los Angeles in August 2022 when Rondo and his crew stopped at a gas station. Shots were fired, and while Rondo made it out, his cousin, who was with him, wasn't. Now a year later, Durk and his alleged associates are facing some of the heaviest charges out there for murder, for the hire, conspiracy, and illegal use of guns, and a crime of violence. Just as the feds were closing in on him, Durk allegedly tried to dip out of the country. The FBI tracked him down at Miami's Opaka Executive Airport, where he reportedly had plans for 2 commercial flights, one to Dubai and another to Switzerland, and a private jet to Italy. The flights, they believe, were part of a plan to throw agents off his trail. It was a calculated attempt to get out of our jurisdiction, but the feds caught up with him just an hour before his private flight was set to take off. Bradford Cohen, attorney for Kodak Black, weighed in on the situation, saying that Durk was likely checking if there was a warrant on him by booking those flights and not necessarily trying to flee. Cohen suggested that if Durk wanted to run for real, he would have picked a country like Vietnam, where extradition is difficult, but with or without intent to flee. The situation doesn't look good for Durk, and it's got fans asking why he would take such a risk if he wasn't already feeling the heat. If Durk's flight plans were more than just checking for a warrant, he could have been facing extra penalties for fleeing under US law, If you try to skip town to dodge charges, it doesn't end well. You get labeled a fugitive, and that means harsher consequences. If you get caught fleeing, could mean more jail time, a tougher sentence if he's convicted, and a reputation that could hurt him in the long run, both in and out of court. But even if he'd made it out of the country, extradition would have been swift. Durk's chosen destinations, Italy and Switzerland, have agreements with the US that would have sent him right back to face the music. With that in mind, whether Durk's actions were a real escape attempt or not, his foreign travel plans just made things messier. The case isn't just about Durk and his accused hitman. The indictment papers mention witness intimidation, claiming that people close to the case and their families have been threatened. The feds have kept these witnesses anonymous, noting that there have already been attempts to get to them, likely to scare them off from testifying. It's unclear if these threats came from Durk's camp or other associates, but the allegations only add weight to the case in the hip-hop community. This has sparked debates about loyalty, trust, and how far people are willing to go to protect their own. The idea that witnesses or their families could be targeted shows just how intense this legal fight is. And it's another hit to Durk's image, which he'd been working so hard to clean up. Federal Nightmares has taken on a new meaning in light of Durk's arrest. Fans have been digging up the lyrics, sharing them online, and pointing out how it sounds like Durk was foreshadowing his own situation lines, like "delete my iCloud if I think they're really on me." And when trial comes, it ain't your phone, it's your homie. Though, have people thought Durk knew something was coming in the song? Durk raps about betrayal, the fear of being watched, and how the people closest to you can flip on you. Fans on X, formerly Twitter, are saying Durk predicted his own future with the track, while others believe it's more than just coincidence that he had a feeling his crew wasn't as solid as thought. Either way, Federal Nightmares has become an anthem for what's unfolding now, with people playing the song and dissecting each line as they try to piece together Durk's next move. The legal case against Little Durk and his hitman. Little Durk and his hitman are facing some serious charges if the court papers against them are to be believed. Known legally as Durk Banks, the rapper is now up against federal murder for hire accusations that could unravel his entire OTF. Only the family operation. The cops say Durk didn't just rap about beef. He reportedly put a real bounty on the head of Quando Rondo, a man tied to the tragic death of King Von. Now, prosecutors are gunning for Durk and 5 of his crew, claiming they set up a gang-style hit on Quando Rondo that left an innocent bystander, Little P, dead.
Saunters up to another man who appears to be Quando and punches him square in the face. From there, chaos ensues and gunshots ring out just moments later. 2 off-duty police officers who were working security at the hookah bar and another on-duty police officer who was also working nearby attempted to intervene and began firing their weapons. As Von's manager and 100K Management Senior Vice President Jameson Francois explained, those shots that was fired from the individuals that shot Von and myself was the only shots fired from those individuals.
It all began on November 6, 2020, when King Vo, an OTF rapper, and L. Durk's friend Li got killed after a fight in Atlanta. This tragic night was the ignition point, setting off a violent feud between Little Durk and Quando Rondo. Arrival from the Chicago scene, fueled by grief and anger. Durk allegedly put a bounty on Quando Rondo's head, promising money to anyone in OTF who took out the rival, who he blamed for his friend's death. For nearly 2 years, things seemed to cool down, but on August 18th, 2022, word hit the OTF network. Quando Rondo was in Los Angeles, staying at a hotel. Durk's squad allegedly jumped into action. They arranged flights for OTF hitman from Chicago to California and reportedly traveled themselves, all funded through credit cards and bank accounts linked to OTF. According to the indictment, Durk's hitman, including Deandra D.D. Wilson, Keith Flacca Jones, and Asa Boogie Houston, were well prepared and ready for business. They arrived in Los Angeles to track Quando Rondo, with Durk and OTF co-conspirators reportedly orchestrating everything. Surveillance footage, credit card records, and text messages reportedly tied Durk to every step of the operation. One particular message to an OTF member stands out: "Don't book no flights under no names connected with sex." me hinting at attempts to cover tracks on the day before the murder. Durk allegedly flew out on a private jet with one of his key associates. Kevin CZ Grant. Durk's interrogatiswized with ski masks, rented cars, and stock up on weapons, including one modified to be fully automatic by August 19th. The alleged killers knew exactly where to find when Rondo and his cousin El Poob, who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, caught the two Hitman vehicles, a white BMW and a white Infiniti, tailing when Rondo's black Escalade all over Los Angeles. The chase finally ended at a gas station near the Beverly Center, where Rondo and El Pab stopped unaware to what was about to go down the Infiniti and pulled up to an alley behind the station. The hitman got out, guns in hand, black masks on, and in the blink of an eye they opened fire on Rondo's car, striking it at least 18 times. El Pab was killed right there in the hail of bullets, while Rondo, the main target, somehow managed to live after the shooting. Durk's team reportedly tried to disappear quickly. They grabbed a quick bite at In-N-Out, where they were caught on video, and made their way to San Diego using the same credit card that had paid for their incoming flights. They booked a flight back to Chicago. It seemed like a great plan, clean and quiet, but the feds weren't about to let this one slide. Months of investigation led to a grand jury indictment with enough proof to arrest 5 OTF members. The FBI managed to track Durk down and catch up with him just as he was allegedly trying to leave the country after the hitmen were taken down in Chicago. The feds got intel that Durk had booked 3 different international flights on October 24, 2012, to Dubai, Switzerland and Italy. This desperate move though tipped off law enforcement, who finally caught him before he could get away. In the eyes of the law, OTF isn't just about making music. It's a full-blown criminal group. Durk's image has always danced on that edge as an artist who turned his pain and street experiences into art. But the feds claim that behind the scenes, OTF operates more like a mob than a record label, enforcing its control through violence and power plays. For Durk, this case brings everything to a boiling point while he's publicly trying to clean up his image in the public eye. Federal investigators argue it's just a cover pointing to his participation in not just the music business but also organized crime, activities that they say led directly to murder. The prosecutors think they have a mountain of evidence. Surveillance footage shows OTF members following when Rondo, while credit card records link Durk's accounts directly to the travel and purchases made for the hit. Witnesses who feared for their lives have already spoken out, and Durk's claimed involvement in financial records show funds moving from OTF accounts to cover every step of the plan, right down to the ski masks and rental cars. In the eyes of the law, this is a closed case with Durk as the kingpin of a criminal organization. The next part will take place in court, where Durk's lawyers are expected to fight back, claiming that he's just an artist caught up in the violent world he's about. They'll likely try to distance him from the actions of his crew, painting him as someone who made it out of the struggle but got pulled back in by a culture that's hard to escape. But prosecutors are ready to show that Durk wasn't just a bystander. They argue he was an active participant, using his wealth and influence to drive's darker agenda. Durk might be banking on his hitmen to hold strong, just like he'd hold them down if the tables were changed. The loyalty runs deep, or at least that's how it's supposed to be. Facing along, every member of OTF knows they're all fighting for their futures with each other's freedom and reputations on the line. But loyalty can start looking different when heavy sentences are looming overhead, and sometimes even the closest members of a crew have flipped on each other for a lighter sentence. The risk of betrayal lingers. In fact, word on the street is that it might already be happening, according to rumors swirling around an insider within OTF who allegedly slipped the feds key details about the murder for a hire setup, breaking the silence that was meant to keep everyone safe about how Little Durk and his hitman were betrayed. Little Durk's latest legal trouble has set the hip-hop world ablaze, and at the center of it all is one of the most dangerous betrayals the streets have ever seen inside his own camp, and only the family OTF. The deception that stings the most is from someone he'd once called bro. This wasn't some minor slip-up. It was an inside job, with an OTF member reportedly snitching to the feds, wearing a wire for years, and helping build the murder for a hire case against Durk. Fans were shocked, but Durk himself might have seen it coming. He'd been hinting at the distrust and paranoia in his music, dropping lines that seemed to warn of snakes in his circle. And when news broke of his attempts to flee before the cops came knocking, it was clear Durk knew trouble was coming, likely from one of his own. In a conversation this October, 50 Cent put it straight to Durk, telling him to keep an eye on. The wisdom hit harder coming from a man who had seen it at all during a sit-down with The Breakfast Club. 50 pondered on his own experiences with Entourage and the kind of betrayal Durk now faces. We did a theme song for Power Book 4, Force the Chicago version. And then I was like, yo, this is them. Just watch him and his crew, 50 said, recalling how he'd warned Durk to stay vigilant. Then 50 mentioned how Durk himself was puzzled by how easily people knew where to find him even though he kept his location.
When you said that to Durk, what was his response to you?
He said, you know what? He said, somebody just came in my house. How do they know exactly what the address is? I don't give my address to nobody.
This backing from Johnson offers Durk a lifeline, albeit a shaky one. Durk's influence in Chicago politics, his efforts to improve his image, and his donations show that he's trying to build something positive. But with charges this serious, Johnson's backing might not hold up under public scrutiny. The mayor's backing hints at the complexity of Durk's image. He's a street hero to some, a role model to others, and now to the court, a suspected criminal. Durk's nonprofit, the Neighborhood Heroes Foundation, was meant to be his legacy, something that would outlast the street life and cement his place as a positive force in Chicago with its focus on uplifting young people, giving mental health resources, and promoting financial literacy. Durk was using his position to make real changes. But with this case against him, everything's on the line, and the backlash is rising. I'm of him with former Mayor Lori Lightfoot and Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx were symbols of his move from rap into respected community work. Now, those same pictures are raising questions. Broadview cut ties quickly, but the bigger worry is how Durk's brand will survive the scandal. The Neighborhood Heroes Foundation isn't just a name. It's part of how Durk's been remaking his image and making a way for himself beyond music. If his credibility is destroyed in the court of public opinion, Durk could lose more than just fans. He could lose the chance to make any lasting impact in his city. The biggest question now is whether Durk can beat these charges and rebuild his image. It's not his first time facing legal battles, but the stakes are higher than ever, and the betrayal from within off only makes things harder with former allies like Jam allegedly turning on him. Durk's got more than just the system to worry about. If he gets through this, it'll take more than just lawyers. He'll need a whole new approach to trust, loyalty, and the way he handles his business. For more content like this, click on the movies showing on your screen now.